All right, guys, we are back with Zack.
Hello.
All right, brother.
Yes,
here
we
go.
are.
So yeah, it was awesome, man. Sharing your pictures with everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got so many comments. Everyone loved it.
They were surprised, huh?
Yeah, it's cool just seeing like a part of your life. Because I always wondered, like, I've been wondering, like, what younger Zack looked like, how your life was, and all that good stuff. So it was cool.
Yeah,
Got to share it with everybody.
That's something people got to be wondering, you know, and you know what led up to this. Prison plays a big factor, you know, and it's always there in the corner waiting, you know, like an ugly monster. I definitely would never want to go back there. That's just for sure.
In that last mugshot, that last one, when was that? 2017, right?
I believe so. That was probably my release picture.
Yeah. I remember shortly before I got out, they did the release photo, the light blue shirt. So, and that last time you were killing your number, right? And that means, for everybody that doesn't know, that means you're finishing your sentence.
I violated my parole. I got out and then violated my parole and went back to finish out my number.
Okay.
Kill it. Yeah.
How long was the original sentence?
3.5 years.
Okay. Was that your first time in?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. 1999 was my first time in, and I was actually, the two times I went were 14 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was 29 before I ever got in trouble and went. You know, I had a 10-month-old baby and a wife, and I was, I really wasn't that bad. I mean, I really wasn't. I don't think I deserved to go to prison, really, but then again, you know, I was breaking the law. You know, I think they're looking at this stuff a lot differently now than they did then. You know, then Arizona was the lock 'em up state. It was the number one economy in Arizona, prison. You know, and I was a frequent flyer.
So you were married before?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she died.
Okay.
She died.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
It was rough. It threw me for a loop. For real. My daughters, they went through some pretty bad stuff.
I bet, man.
Yeah, they
emotionally and everything leading up to it, man. I'm like, depending on the situation, we don't have to get into it, but it's traumatic. You know, I could only imagine. Yeah,
unfortunately, you know, their mother and myself were both pretty bad addicts, and I was always afraid that they would be the perfect cross between us two. You know.
So when I saw these photos, I immediately thought of getting different chapters of your life. So if you can, this most recent prison experience, how was life like before you caught your case, the last year or so, last 6 months leading up to it? And then how was it? Just give us a crazy story of while you were in there, and then like the last 6 months or a year when you got out. What that look like?
Let's see. Well, before I went, I was not doing well. This last time, I was homeless, as a matter of fact, and I was living on the street with my girlfriend, and that's real difficult. I mean, being out here by myself is one thing, and looking out after me is one thing, but looking out after a woman, and you know, they're not too receptive to this life. You know, it's you know, strong enough for a man, but not made for a woman.
Wasn't pH balanced enough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you were homeless and she wasn't, or she was?
No, she was.
Okay, she was. Okay.
We both were. And you know, I remember the day I was sick as a dog. I mean, like super sick, and I had walked up to the Target on Oracle, and I'd walked in. This is we left DES, and we went and got something done at DES, I believe, and then we went up to Oracle, and I was just so sick, man, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I got to do something. I walked in, I remember, and I grabbed something out of the Target, and I wheeled it out, you know, and I got all the way out to almost to the sidewalk or whatever, and the security guy walked up behind me, and he goes, hey, he goes, are you going to pay for that? And I looked at him, and I took the cart, and I pushed it towards him. Here, take it. You know, take it, whatever, you know. And I believe that at that moment, you know, maybe were being followed or something. You never know when you're messing around with these drugs and stuff what you you know, might pick up along the way. And I had given the merchandise back and walked off, and went to the bus stop on First in Fort Lowell, the Circle K, the bus stop right there in front of the Circle K, and a lady had approached my girlfriend and asked her to get her drugs, you know, in general, heroin. And my girl had tried to get it for her or something and couldn't, and came to me, brought her to me, and I had told the lady, I said, she was with a guy too, and I said, you know, I said I don't sell drugs. I said I only know where to get them because I do them. And I said, and I don't get people drugs. And I said, especially people I don't know. I said, it's against my better judgment. I said, no. And she started kind of arguing with me a little bit, and you know, I repeated myself pretty much, and I told her it's against my better judgment. I'm sorry, I cannot. And you know, I needed something because I was still sick and everything, and the end result was the woman cried to me. She was a police officer. She cried to me. And they said they weren't from here.
Actual tears?
Yeah.
Wow. She's good.
Yeah, she was good.
That's the epitome of a trick bag.
Yes, that was a trick bag. That is the definite definition of a trick bag.
So she was crying, and what happened?
Yeah, and my girlfriend said, come on, get her some. And I said, damn. I said, it's all right. I said, I don't feel good about it. And I remember walking away from my girl, and I left her at the bus stop with a couple friends. And, you know, I went with the people, and, you know, to do the deed. And I did it, you know, and I met my plug, my dealer, and I'd gotten them the heroin and some amphetamine as well. And I just kind of threw that in, got myself an extra charge there. But and I remember the lady, after I handed it to her, you know, she goes, "Oh, we're good." And I looked at her, I kind of, a shiver went up my spine, and I looked at her and I said, "What is that supposed to mean?"
There's usually a code that they use.
I said, "We're good." I said, "What does that mean?" And she said, "Oh, it's just a figure of speech." And I said, "No." I said, "You know what?" I was like thinking something's really wrong. And I told her, "You know what?" I said, "I want to go. I want to go right now. I want to get out of here." Little did I know, the police had, or the undercovers had already chased down my friend when he pulled away and sold me the stuff. You know, they witnessed that. And, you know, he pulled away and they got him somewhere down the line. And her and I were driving back. I said, "I just want to get back to my girl, man. That's all I want to do." And she said, "Well, I need to pull into this store here and pee." She said, "You want a beer or something?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No." And I had a real bad feeling. She got out of the car and she walked into the Walgreens, and I was still sitting there looking around the car, and I was holding my stuff in my hand, and all of a sudden the door just flew open and a bunch of cops, they were like, "You know what this is, you know?" And it was a sting operation that the police had tried to get me to work for them in, and I would not do it. I wouldn't, you know, I just wouldn't do it.
Yep.
And, you know, I had sold drugs to the cops for the second time now, you know, 14 years later, after the first time. And I wasn't really a young man. You know, what was I? It was 2014, I believe. And so that would make me what? 44? Or something like that?
That's when I got out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
So
that "we're good," that's
good.
That's
she
usually
says,
a
and
little
I
heads
knew right away.
when the deal's done. That's a little code, or
You know, it was entrapment all the way, and if it would have been any other place, any other state, it wouldn't have flown. At the time, Arizona didn't have an entrapment law. You know, they can do drugs with you. They could do drugs with you or whatever, and you know, when it's all said and done and they're all out, they're going to go to some cush rehab somewhere and get fixed up and, you know, get better and come out and keep doing their thing. And you know, I'm the one that was a addict stuck in the penitentiary system, you know.
sure you had to detox in jail.
Oh yeah, and it was rough.
So glad I didn't have.
You know, they had called me Jesus. They did. They called me Jesus in the county, and I couldn't walk or anything. I mean, I was bad.
Yeah.
I was bad. Seizures, the whole works. And you know, I remember after I'd been there some time, there was some guys, and they used to come in really kicking bad. You know, when I say kicking, I mean detoxing. And they would come in and they would be like telling the nurses, "Oh man, I'm, you know, this, and I do this and that and this and that and everything." And the nurse finally looked at this one guy and she said, "You know what?" She said, "I remember this guy over here." And she said, "He was worse than you, you know." And she said, "You'll be all right." And I literally thought I would die. I literally thought I would die. And I remember I went to my sentencing. I got sentenced and I was just waiting to go. And I went on New Year's Eve.
2014 or 15?
14.
14.
Yep, I went on New Year's Eve to prison, to Alhambra. And, you know, I'd forgotten about how bad Alhambra really was. until I got there. When I got there, it was the shower time, at Alhambra. I was like, oh man, I remember this all too well.
Yeah.
It came to me the second I seen the place. It really did. And I wasn't just going to prison, but I was an older man going to prison.
Yeah, I was there in the summer. And that specific day, shower day, one of the days they didn't have towels, so they made us use our jumpsuit and one of the orange shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah.
So
3 minutes to
and to eat, was it like what, 5-6 minutes?
To eat, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And you sit down and they bring you your tray. You get your tray, you sit down, and then they say, okay, eat, and you got 3 minutes or whatever, and then they're like, row 3, pick them up, and like most people weren't even barely started.
No talking.
No talking, no nothing. I don't know. I cleaned up and I came alive. I really did. I came alive. I started working out. I started doing, I got me a job, and unfortunately the drugs even in there are prominent. And I had managed to get myself a dirty UA at work and got fired.
So for everyone that's watching that doesn't know Alhambra's classification, I was there for about a week. Some people are there like different times. How long were you there?
I was there for 3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weeks. Yeah. So from there, once they figure out your threat level, security level, all that crap, then they send you to the actual prison yard.
They try to make you snap. They put you in a 2-man cell with 4 people, and you got a mat on the floor or whatever, and yeah, it was rough.
Alhambra sucked.
It did. It did. And I remember when they called me, I was thinking, if they don't get me out of here within like if they don't call me like right now, I'm gonna flip out and these dudes are in trouble. I'm thinking, and they came and they called me, and I couldn't believe it. And I was on my way. I was on my way to the joint.